Hi, I'm dysregulated. What's your name? Are you overwhelmed with the state of everything? Cause same. I find it really difficult when there's a lot going on in the world to do pretty much anything other than stay up to date on it all, because I feel like it's really important to know what's going on and to empathize with people who are experiencing a range of different circumstances. And I think that sometimes having a level of constant global awareness can take a toll on you if you're also not taking care of yourself in the process. I honestly spent most of today glued to my phone and just cycling between YouTube, news, social media, and then dissociating and then having low-grade panic attacks, just completely overwhelmed by everything. I also have CPTSD, and consuming a lot of very heavy things, especially things that might include personal triggers, is something that I typically need to pace myself with. And not because what people are going through doesn't matter to me, but more so because it deeply matters to me. And I can sort of start to carry it in ways that people are not asking of me, and in ways that are not necessarily helping. Having chronic illness can also really limit your capacity in more ways than you would think. I've had times where a friend is going through something and I wanted more than anything to just drop everything and spend 6 hours talking it all through with them and watching a movie together to help them have a distraction, and then make all their favorite comfort foods and just do anything that I can to make sure that they're okay. And there may be some days where my capacity is a bit higher and I'm able to do some or most of that, but there are other days, if I'm going through a flare or I just had a heavy therapy session or my baseline energy for whatever reason is just lower, where if I drop everything and try to meet that friend's every need, it may come at the cost of me having the energy that I need to do food prep and make sure that I'm eating enough, to take my medications and supplements on time, to do my physical therapy exercises, to rest. And then there's the question of, was dropping everything and sacrificing all of my needs to try and somehow meet all of my friends' needs, even what they were asking for? Did that fix their circumstances? Maybe what that friend actually needed was just one part of that. Maybe chatting for 1 hour instead of 6 hours. Maybe just playing video games together. And maybe what I'm actually able to give in those moments without sacrificing myself is way more meaningful and productive. When I'm cycling through all of this information about the things that are going on in the world and feeling absolutely devastated by what I'm seeing, I have to ask myself, who am I helping? And am I honoring myself and my limitations in the process? So if I'm consuming a piece of information because I want to be educated and reduce the amount of ignorance that I might have about things that are outside of my lived experience, that's great. If I'm listening to someone's story and that helps them to feel like their voice matters, that's great. If I'm researching causes that might be helpful to donate to, that's great. But if I am endlessly consuming a stream of information about things that are outside of my control and outside of the scope of what I personally have the capacity to help with, what is that doing for anyone? What is that doing to my mental and my physical health? I think that a really helpful question to ask sometimes is, what is my role in all of this? Is my role to use my voice online to educate and share helpful information? And why? I personally feel very inspired and compelled to use my voice to bring awareness to chronic illness and dynamic disabilities in particular, because those are things that are very close to home for me, and because of that, I feel like I have a lot that I want to say. My why is that I spent so many years feeling isolated and blaming myself when no one could figure out what was wrong with me or when treatments didn't work. And I hope that using my voice helps to, number one, educate those who are not living with chronic illness about what some of our experiences are like, what things are helpful and what things are not so helpful, so that hopefully at least a little bit of that mental load can be taken off of us. And number two, to help other chronically ill and disabled people to feel seen and feel less alone in the world. Is my role to help in quieter ways behind the scenes, like donating, volunteering, or even just checking in on people who might not be doing super well at this time? Is my role creating art and content that provides safety and escapism to others? Or is my role today to take a step back and make sure that I make it to tomorrow? And if I make it to tomorrow and I take this time to make sure that I'm okay, maybe at some point I'll have the space and the capacity to step in and help. And if you feel like others in the world are experiencing more hardship than you at this time, and so it feels wrong to be overwhelmed by your own circumstances, I want you to know that your pain and your experiences matter. You keeping yourself regulated and fed and hydrated and rested matters. It is okay to put your phone down sometimes and shift your attention to something that feels grounding and safe. Maybe it's getting a canvas out and painting something. Maybe it's going outside for a little while. Maybe it's writing a song. Maybe playing video games or spending some lighthearted time with a friend. Give yourself permission to pace yourself. Give yourself permission to rest and take breaks. Give yourself permission to take care of your mind and your body. I know it's easier said than done. And trust that if you're even watching this video, you do care about what's going on. You've probably actually been super stressed out about it, and you do want to help. And I know that if you're able, you will, but you can't pour from an empty cup. So today, after the panic calmed down a little bit, I ended up falling asleep for a while, and that just kind of helped to reset my nervous system a little bit. But I've definitely been pretty low energy since then. I think just kind of coming down from a lot of stress, it's normal for your system to be a little depressed. I tried to work on music for a little while, but when my depression is really loud, I tend to feel like everything I've created is trash. So I'm probably gonna call it for tonight, make dinner, play some video games, and go to bed. And tomorrow I will probably revisit my music and try to see if I can hear something in it other than trash. So take care of yourselves, check in on your friends if and when you have the capacity, take a deep breath, and know that it's gonna be okay.